This is module 63 on price discrimination for a monopolist. All right, so last unit, you should have been looking at what was it like to regulate the monopolist, especially a natural monopolist. Why do we let some of those things exist? Because it's just cheaper for them to exist in that sense. But now we're going to say, hey, is there any company out there that can, what if I didn't just charge one price in my monopoly? What if I could charge multiple prices in my monopoly? So as you look at this one, what is price discrimination? It's charging different prices to different consumers for the same product. Best example out there is probably the airline industry. Sometimes you're going to see people on a flight and they can, like, somebody's paying $1,000 to fly, somebody's paying $200 to fly, somebody's flying for free. Every seat in there is its own individual price, and basically what's happening is that monopolist is getting going right down their curve and getting every single one of those prices. So if I look at a monopoly graph, right? So I'm looking at something like this. So here's my monopoly. So I got a downward sloping demand curve. Got my price, got my quantity. I have my marginal revenue curve coming down, crossing zero. All right. Now I have, we could draw just a normal looking marginal cost curve in here. So here's my marginal cost curve. And normally what we would say is, hey, let's go where MR equals MC right here, come up, get my price, come down, get my quantity, done, right? But here's the kicker. That's if I'm charging one price and one price only. But what if I could charge a bunch of different prices? What if I could charge somebody the price up here? And what if I could charge somebody the price here? And what if I could charge somebody the price here and the price here? So what would you do if you could get all those prices? That's what a example of a restaurant, or not a restaurant, of an airline does. Restaurants can kind of do it if you're trying to do something like offering seniors a discounted rate at a certain time. Movie theaters try to do it by charging a price for regular admission, then a price for students, then a price for senior citizens, then a price for new releases. There's all sorts of ways that businesses try to get multiple prices for the same thing. Again, airline industry is probably the best example. If you look at the graph here, this is Lenny's Grand Slam breakfast, right? There's a high price and then there's a low price, and they can charge both and start filling in those little chunks of profit. So if I could get this price first, what if I could come up here and grab, this price up here? Now all of a sudden I'm gaining profit in all these instances, rather than, and then if I had my average total cost curve in here like this, right? Normally I'd be like, oh, here's my profit here, right? But what if I could charge another price? Now I'm getting this box up here of profit and this box of profit. And then what if I could charge, so that was like a P2, what if I could charge a P3, like way up here, and get that little teeny tiny box? And I could keep going and getting all of those boxes of profit. If I could get every single price, I would fill in all those little gaps until eventually what's going to happen is I could get an entire triangle of profit. So if you look at this one, there's perfect price discrimination. I could get all this in here. Now the key is, where am I going to stop in terms of going to get all of this profit? Well, you want to make sure, if you get a question like this, where your demand curve is downward sloping and your marginal cost curve is just horizontal, go all the way down to where your marginal cost is going to hit your marginal revenue, right? That's what you want to do. If you look at this graph, where you're going to stop is you would stop where your marginal cost curve crosses that demand line for you. So in this case, I would come all the way down to here, where my marginal cost curve crossed my demand curve. Then I'd come down to my average total cost curve, and then I'd square this in, and I'd gain all this as profit, right? Because now, if I'm getting all of the prices, my marginal revenue curve isn't here anymore, right? My marginal revenue curve swings up and joins my demand curve, and now I'm getting all of these things. So my marginal revenue curve is actually going to hit my marginal cost curve right there, come down to your ATC, looks like it'd come down a little more straight there, and then I'd square that box in. So I might be a little high here, right? We want to make sure we're totally squared in like this, and then that's what a monopoly that is perfectly price discriminating is going to do. They're going to increase their output a little bit until they get that marginal revenue, marginal cost curve to cross. But remember, my marginal revenue is no longer a separate line. It swings up, joins my demand line, and then marginal revenue, marginal cost is going to be right here. That's the end of this section. That's the end of monopolies. So if you have any questions on that, send me an email or stop in at office hours like Tuesday and Thursday this week. Remember, we also have a test coming up on Thursday. So good luck with that. Talk to you later. Bye.